Baruach u'ma'orida geshem v'ten Tal UMatar LeBracha. Friends, we are on 7th Cheshvan, the 7th of Cheshvan today. Happens to be a momentous day in the Jewish calendar for one specific reason in of itself. We know the whole year, naturally just came out of Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah only 2 weeks ago, at the culmination of Sukkot. We inserted Tefillot, prayers, within regards to where we request bountiful rain. Now here on 7th Cheshvan, the 7th of Cheshvan, which is naturally just over 2 weeks after this specific momentous day in of itself, that we are going to change, or let's say, according to some customs, the tefillah of Birkat HaShanim. It happens to be the 9th tefillah in the Shemona Esrei. It's not raining here, friends, so I can put this away. So how does this go, friends, over here? The 9th bracha, blessing, Birkat HaShanim, Birkat HaShanim it's called, we request rain over here. So according to the Edut Mizrach, the Sephardi custom, the minhag in of itself, the entire wording of this prayer in the Shemona Esrei is going to change from winter to summer. So naturally, in the winter, we know we start with the words Barech Aleinu, and in the summer we start with Barachenu Hashem, which is interesting, Elokeinu, to add to that. So, however, according to the Ashkenazi minhag, the wording of Birkat HaShanim in the summer and in the winter is identical. There's an exception of the words V'ten Tal UMatar in the winter, and the 10 bracha in the summer. So there's going to be that difference over here. So let's explore some things that we should really know within regards to this bountiful tefillah of Birkat HaShanim in of itself. So we know we can add on that when to say it. There's a lot what we can learn. So let's do a few tidbits within regards to that. We know that during the summer, one should not add in the request for rain 10 Tal UMatar LeBracha, and if one did, then one must repeat the Shemona Esrei in of itself, the Amida prayer that we'll say, obviously during the week, on Shacharit, Mincha, and Arbit, on average day in of itself. However, if you live outside of Israel over here, one is not supposed to begin requesting for rain until December the 4th. But if one did add it between the 7th of Cheshvan and December the 4th, one should repeat Shemona Esrei with a stipulation that it should be a voluntary prayer over here. So that's very interesting in of itself. I think the actual source for that is Mishnah Berurah in chapter 117, number 13 over there. Okay, so let's look at some more within regards to what if someone makes a mistake in this prayer during the winter time period. So the first case scenario is if one forgot to say the 10 Tal UMatar in Barech Aleinu over here. What if someone forgets? This is during the winter time period, which is hence from today in the Hebrew calendar. So if one remembers before saying Baruch Atah Hashem at the end of the bracha, one should go back to the 10 Tal UMatar and continue from there. However, if one remembers after saying Hashem's name in Barech Aleinu, one should conclude with Lamdeinu Chukecha and start the bracha again, which is very interesting. I think we're quoting various sources here. This is a Pesquei Teshuvot, if I'm not mistaken, also in chapter 117, I think, of the Mishnah Berurah. Now, another case scenario could be that if one remembers after saying this blessing of Birkat HaShanim, one shouldn't say the 10 Tal UMatar LeBracha right there unless one is likely to forget to say it in Shema Kolenu, in which case one should say it right after the Birkat HaShanim. Okay, now another case scenario. If one remembers during Shema Kolenu, this is a prayer in the middle of the Shemona Esrei, way afterwards, one should say it before the words Ki Ata Shomea. Now, another scenario. If one remembers after saying Hashem's name of Shomea Tefillah, this is before the Retzei Tefillah in of itself, before Modim, one should say Lamdeni Chukecha and return to the 10 Tal prior to Ki Ata, this part of the Tefillah. Now, if one remembered after Shomea Tefillah, before Retzeh, the Tefillah Retzeh, one may say the 10 Tal UMatar LeBracha right over there and then. If one remembers, now another case scenario, after beginning Retzeh prayer, before the Modim prayer, prior to saying Yehiyu L'Ratzon after Elokei Netzor, one should return to Barech Aleinu, once back again. And now, last case scenario over here, if one finished Yehiyu L'Ratzon, right at the end of the zenith, the end of the Shemona Esrei itself, one should now repeat the Shemona Esrei in of itself, which is going to be obviously time consuming for many people over there. Shulchan Aruch in chapter 117, number 5, will actually expound within regards to that. Okay, now let's explore. What if someone forgets to say 10 Tal UMatar? Inside the tefillah, the prayer over here, he's forgotten. Do you say 10 Tal? I forgot Did we say or not? So if one is unsure whether one said b'ten Tal UMatar or not, if it's within 30 days, like now we're in Zayin Cheshvan and till the time of 7th Kislev, we assume one didn't say b'ten Tal UMatar, and so one has to repeat. However, after 30 days, one does not repeat. Remember, naturally during the week, on average, 90 Shemona Esrei times you would say it, so you won't have to repeat it if it's after the 7th of Kislev, a month after this threshold time period of 7th of Cheshvan. However, if one said the line, Ve'et kol minei tvota litova v'ten Tal UMatar LeBracha, 90 times you say this prayer. Remember, Sephardim are doing a totally different prayer in of itself. It's a total. If he says it 90 times, just this phrase, even on one day, one is assumed to have said b'ten Tal if one is unsure whether one has said it or not. Some say that one should say or continue al penei adama. Some say one should repeat the line 101 times. But after the fact, 90 times is sufficient. Ideally, say this phrase 101 times on 7th of Cheshvan, just in of itself, but 90 is enough. If one is sure that one had in mind to say the addition or change to Shemona Esrei before starting Shemona Esrei, and also during Shemona Esrei, and then after one completed Shemona Esrei, one is uncertain, let's say, one said it, one shouldn't repeat the Shemona Esrei. However, if one became uncertain during Shemona Esrei, one should assume one didn't say it and return. Next case, if one is sure that one had in mind to say the addition or change to Shemona Esrei before starting Shemona Esrei, so he's about to say the Amida over here, and he's had this in mind, but now he's forgotten, did he say it or not in the middle of the Shemona Esrei of itself? He's not certain. If after completing Shemona Esrei, one becomes uncertain, one must repeat it. However, if one only becomes uncertain a while after Shemona Esrei, then don't repeat it. It's only if it's in that period straight after. Now, last thing over here. However, if a person, let's say, knows that he loses his thoughts in Shemona Esrei, he can unfortunately not have the kavanah, the intention while he's praying, and he knows that he's capable of forgetting to say it. Even if one remembered a moment earlier, some authorities hold one should always return in case of doubt, unless one is nearly certain that one said it. Okay, next case scenario, we're about to finish it. If one made a mistake during the summer, as opposed to winter, now we're not in the 7th of Cheshvan territory, we're after, when we're doing the summer prayer. In the summer, if one mistakenly said the 10 Tal UMatar, over here, you're asking a Tal over here, LeBracha, or he does a total different tefillah, according to Edut Mizrach Sephardi text, and then one is to remember before finishing his Shemona Esrei, he should go back to the beginning of Birkat HaShanim, that's that prayer, and start over from there. If one finishes Shemona Esrei, then one must repeat the whole Shemona Esrei, that whole Amidah. Now, the case someone is visiting Israel, he goes on the 4th of December, he starts it from, and in Israel, naturally, we start on the 7th of Cheshvan. So a person who lives outside Israel, who is visiting Israel after the 7th of Cheshvan, before December the 4th, according to Sephardi practice, he should say Barech Aleinu, not Barechenu, while he is in Israel. However, according to Ashkenazim over here, many opinions hold that if one will be in Israel during that entire period, from the 7th of Cheshvan until December the 4th, one should say 10 Tal in Birkat HaShanim. However, if one would not be there for that amount of time, one should say in Shomei Tefillah. The source, I believe, for that in of itself is, I'll find you, I believe it's coming from, as a whole expoundation from where I'm reading from. I think Pri Chadash and Pri Megadim will speak about it, and Birkei Yosef and other books will actually expound on that. A last tidbit over here. If a visitor from outside Israel, who will be there from the 7th of Cheshvan until December the 4th, forgot to say 10 Tal in Birkat HaShanim, between the 7th of Cheshvan and the December the 4th, should then repeat the Shemona Esrei. So that is quite significant. I think a shut in the Rivot Ephraim quotes Yashiv Moshe within regards to this. And Rav Shlomo Zalman in Halachot Shlomo is going to also expound whether you should do this or not. But there's different opinions within regards to that. So everyone, get the umbrellas out now here. I've got it out because we're probably going to get rain. We want to have good abundance of rain here in Israel. And wishing you all a great day. Please, everyone that's tuning in, subscribe to the channel over here. We're a community here learning about the great Torah thoughts, different dinim, different rabbis, Parshat HaShavua, Daf Yomi every single day. So be well and enjoy. Blessings from Israel.